we have a new chart now. It's called energy displacement. This imagery line represents inertia, inactivity, formlessness, void. These imaginary positions represent tones and overtones of energy transference in equilibrium or inertia before displacement, plus and minus. Universal reproductive constant of opposed motion built up out of inertia. Dimension chart number 7. Stability is the inactivity of a state of equilibrium. Motion is active and opposed to equilibrium. All motion is relatively unstable. Stability of matter in motion may only be simulated by the union of exactly equal and opposite plus and minus dimensions. The apparent ability of the positive pole of a magnet to attract the negative, and the negative to attract the positive, has been one of the evidences which has built up the theory that opposite charges attract and like charges repel. Further deceptive evidence in support of this theory lies in the fact that the north positive pole of a magnetized bar of iron will appear to repel the north positive pole of a compass needle, and on the contrary, the south negative pole of a magnetized bar of iron will appear to attract the north positive pole of a compass needle. Oops, turn the page. The evidence that like charges repel is as convincing as that the moon keeps pace with moving man, or that the earth is flat. It is evidence that one can really see, like other illusions of motion. The truth is that north is the apex of a cone into which a supernormal electric stream is spirally flowing due to electric excitation. The reason that the south pole of the bar of iron appears to attract the north pole of the compass needle is that the electric stream is flowing through both the iron and the needle in the same direction from south to north. To expect them to do otherwise would be equivalent to expecting two water pipes through which streams are flowing to continue their flow as one stream if the water pipes were joined together in such a way that the streams were flowing in opposite directions. Just as the two separate streams of water would apparently repel each other if the pipes were so joined, so would they appear to attract each other and flow as one stream if the pipes were joined, so that their streams were flowing in the same direction. One may demonstrate the truth of this by cutting a magnetized bar of iron anywhere between its opposite poles. It will then be seen that a new north and south pole will appear on each of the two separate bars. This process may be repeated indefinitely, always with the same result. The so-called magnetized bar of iron is one in which a strong electric inductive current has so greatly contracted the generative and expanded the radiative cones of energy of the atom of iron that their polar magnetic bases and their ecliptic expansions have been vastly reduced, and the speeds of their generative and radiative flows correspondingly increased. Atoms of iron not so treated leap toward those faster flowing streams. The term magnetized was given to iron so treated because iron exposed to the magnetic field of a generative coil always causes this effect. The magnetic field of a generative coil is the radioactive emanation or discharge of an overcharged coil. It is the degeneration of a generating charge when it leaves the generative coil. At this point, I'm going to put another chart on that shows this, I think. It is the degeneration of a generating charge when it leaves the generative coil. In other words, it is the leakage or overflow from an overfilled receptacle. Not so, however, when it impacts against the iron. It then becomes regenerated. The negative discharge becomes a positive charge. The iron bar becomes electrified, not magnetized. The bar of iron and the so-called magnetic poles of a revolving, rotating mass, such as this planet, are two different effects. Every mass, such as this planet, is supposed to be a magnet. It is, but not like the magnetized bar of iron or the compass needle. It is a double magnet. Its two charging poles meet head-on at the gravitative center of the planet, and the oppositely flowing electric streams meet there exactly as oppositely flowing streams of water would meet if water pipes were opposed, as above described. In any mass, when these two streams meet, they oppose and spread against each other's force in the direction of the ecliptic plane area of the mass. It is commonly supposed that the magnetic pole of this planet is analogous to a bar magnet, being one continuous bar extended from the negative antarctic south to the positive arctic north. A compass needle nearing the south magnetic pole dips so violently that it seems desirous of plunging arrow head first directly into the sea. This apparently supports the theory that opposite poles attract, for here the north attractive positive pole of the compass is attracted to its south supposedly repellent negative pole. Carry this experiment further and approach the north magnetic pole with the compass. Upon nearing it, the same effect is produced as that at the south pole. The magnetic needle seems to desire to dive vertically into the sea. This appears to be the opposite effect from that cited in the magnet bar and the compass experiment. The north attractive positive pole of the planet appears to attract the north attractive positive pole of the compass, and the south repellent negative pole of the planet appears to attract the north attractive positive pole of the compass. The explanation lies in the fact that the one north direction of attraction in the bar of iron and compass is continuous, while the two north directions of attraction in the planet are opposed. They meet at the center of the earth at the apices of two opposing cones. The magnetic bases of these two cones are respectively in the Arctic and Antarctic regions. As mass generates, the magnetic bases disappear through the poles and reappear at the equator. The diameters of the bases extend from the known major charging poles through the poles of rotation to the unknown minor charging poles situated at equal distances on the opposite sides of the poles of rotation. It has previously been explained that the north of any mass is its gravitative center. The direction of north is along the electric axis of the contracting cones of generation from their bases to their apices. North is always in the direction of general activity, high pressure, and high potential. In any mass, north is the generative radiative center, where the apparent ability to attract and to repel is at its maximum. On the contrary, south is always in the direction of radioactivity, low pressure, and low potential. South is an extension of the equatorial plane which divides any mass. It is that part of mass where radiative emanations are at their maximum. It is the plane of disappearance of the contours of the expanding cones of radiation. It must continually be borne in mind that electricity contracts and attracts from within, and that magnetism expands and repels also from within. Consider the isoclinal lines which girdle this planet approximately parallel to its equator, according to very careful surveys for terrestrial magnetic charts, at every 10 degrees of latitude between the equator and the poles. If that portion of the planet between any of these isoclinal lines and either of the poles were lifted out, one would be looking into one of the gripping cone clutches of the universal machine, or one of the slipping disc clutches, the apex of which reaches somewhere near the equatorial plane of the planet. The contour of the cone thus exposed would give the direction of the magnetic lines of force which emanate from the planet and seek their regeneration at the pole of the same hemisphere from which they emanate.